Welcome back to Hannity. According to a new report by the New York Post, the Cambridge, Massachusetts mosque that was attended by the Boston bombers also had ties to several suspected terrorists and terror supporters, including Ahmad Abu Samra, the man believed to be the top propagandist for ISIS. Now, we reached out to the Islamic Society of Boston. They denied the accusation, saying, quote, yesterday, the New York Post published a sensational article about our mosque full of many half-truths and inaccuracies, which has unfortunately been used by other news agencies. The ISB was never contacted for a statement or even for verification. We'd like to now clarify this issue. In fact, according to our records, Abu Samara never came to or had any relationship with our mosque. Now, the Post article also mentioned several individuals who the mosque could not confirm or deny had attended services. So, should we be monitoring more closely who is attending these so-called places of worship? Joining me now with reaction terrorism expert Steve Emerson and Imam Mohammed Sadiq is back with us. Mr. Sadiq, did you ever get into the answer the question that Hamas, which has in their charter the obliteration of Israel? I asked you twice now since you've been on the program. You said you'd look into it. They have in their charter to obliterate Israel. Will you tonight now acknowledge they're a terror organization?
No, I will not. First of all, without God's name, the most gracious, most merciful, I bear witness there's but
have you read
God.
The charter yet?
I bear witness there's but one God, Allah, and I bear witness Muhammad is his messenger.
Can I ask you
and
a question?
Before I go any further, I just want to offer the condolences again to the Sattler family and to the family of Foley.
I asked you a question.
And let them know
You've
that
been
we
on
offer our
twice,
condolences.
denied that Hamas is a terrorist organization. I asked you to read their charter.
What I know about Hamas, they're not a terrorist organization.
What you know about Hamas, but their charter calls for, quote, the obliteration of Israel and Jews.
I have nothing to do with their charter. I know they're the Democratic elected.
No, but you're afraid to acknowledge a terror group for what they are. Steve,
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not going to falsely identify anybody that I do not believe it's that way. If
somebody wants to obliterate an entire country and group of people, what part of that being terror don't you understand when they fire 4,000 rockets into Israeli towns and cities?
I'm not going to get into that. You know, there's two sides to that story.
That's called
terrorism.
There's
two sides to that story, and you only tell one side, and I'm not going to get into
one side.
that.
I'm reading from their charter. Steve Emerson,
there
is this mysterious...
Real program. Bring me in for something other than a soundbite, and I'll get into it with you.
Okay. I will ask you back again.
We get in the middle
Maybe
of something,
you'll educate yourself
and
and read Hamas's charter. Steve Emerson, why is there this reluctance to acknowledge in the Muslim community radicalism?
You know what, Sean? There's not just a problem in the Muslim community, it's a problem within various sectors in American society. Under this administration, the term radical Islam is prohibited from being used. It's not used at all. In fact, prosecutors have had hard times using the word jihad in the indictments of Islamic terrorists. So the fact is, not only do we have it in the Islamic community, where imams like Mr. Sadiq should be directly involved in combating extremism. That's the only way to stop the growing number and proliferation of young Muslims who want to join ISIS.
But here's my question, Steve. Why is there, I would argue, there is too few people that are moderate Muslims that don't like the hijacking of their religion by radicals, that don't have the courage to speak out. Like when the Catholic Church had its problems, I'm a Catholic, I spoke out and spoke out loudly. I would think that all Muslims do not want these radicals representing their religion or hijacking their religion.
Here's the problem, Sean, and it may not be politically correct to say this, but the people that control the institutions of education, of religion, of communication, of television are the jihadists. And not all of them are violent, but they believe in Islamic supremacy, from Al-Azhar University to Al Jazeera to the Muslim Brotherhood. So the Muslim Brotherhood, even though it condemns ISIS, cannot be considered a moderate group. All of these groups, and this is the problem, we compartmentalize all of these groups into different organizations as if they're not connected to one another under the rubric of radical Islam.
Right, let me ask the Imam Sadiq here a very simple question. Sharia law, and there was an article about it today, apostates in many countries that live under Sharia, those that convert to another religion, the penalty for them is death. The penalty for many people under Sharia, if they're gay, is death. The penalty for adultery could be stoning to death under Sharia. Women can't drive in many countries under Sharia. They can't be seen in public with men that they're not related to. Do you condemn Sharia that is used in the name of your religion?
I can't condemn Sharia. I can condemn the misunderstanding of how Sharia law is supposed to fit
are they not killed? Is an apostate not given the death penalty in those countries? Because yes, the answer is yes.
There's a whole lot of misunderstanding overseas that is sick. You need to concentrate on the positive people here in the United States
Sharia,
who are working to try to work
with
the positive side of what this government is trying to do.
Do you think 4 male eyewitnesses for rape for a woman under Sharia is fair?
Why don't you concentrate on the beautiful thing that the Muslims are doing under
Why don't you answer my question?
Working with Christians, working with Jews, working with
I got a question.
Good people.
Women,
sure, you have a question.
Women under Sharia in some countries need 4 male eyewitnesses for rape. Is that okay? Is that an okay interpretation of your Quran and your religion?
Sean, first of all, I don't even know if you're reading it right. Do you read Arabic, Sean?
I don't read Arabic, but I've read the Quran.
You might not even be reading it right. You might be confused.
I have a whole list of quotes here in the Quran. I can go through them with you about jihad, infidel, holy war, take neither Christians nor Jews for your friends.
We'll do that. Let's invite me in for a meaningful program where we have some time and we can share some wonderful
You want to do
things.
a half hour together and come in studio?
I would love to do that, Sean.
All right, we'll make that happen.
I'll give you what you want. Okay,
Sean, can I add something here?
Yeah, last word.
30. Yeah. The point is, when the Imam says you're not reading it right, this goes to the heart of the debate. The fact that he refuses to say that Hamas is a terrorist group, I think means that he's reading it right. The fact is that these people, like him, not all Muslims, it's how you interpret it. And the fact is, these people, the extremists, whether they're violent or nonviolent, interpret the Quran as to justify Islamic supremacy. And that ultimately leads to volunteering for ISIS.
Women are stoned to death, Stephen. Women can't drive. 4 male eyewitnesses for rape. Women are treated like second-class citizens. Gays are murdered.
And if you talk about this, you're accused of being Islamophobic. That's like saying if you talk about
get killed, you're an apostate, and I can't bring it up.
That's what you can't bring. But if you talk about white racism, it's definitely encouraged.
Thank you both. I'm sorry I'm out of time. And coming up.